Today we're going to talk about a very important topic, and that is RMD, Required Minimum Distribution. Most of you have pension plans, IRA, 401K, and you're wondering what this RMD is all about, Required Minimum Distribution. That's what we'll talk about. Stay with me. For the most of your life, those who are expecting to retire, most of you, not all, but most, have either an IRA or a 401K. That is something provided to you by your employer while you are working during your working years. What is the purpose of that? The purpose of that is so that you can set aside money on a tax-free basis. That means they're reducing the contributions you're putting in, they're reducing your pay so that at the end of the year you're not paying any tax on that. So you earn that money and you set it aside tax-free. Not only that, sometimes your employer do make the contribution. It's nice when I was still starting up, and some companies today also are matching it dollar for dollar. If you set aside $1, they put in $1, so in effect you have $2 in your bucket. Now, does it mean you don't have to pay tax on that? Oh, yes, you do. But you may be able to escape taxation depending on where your tax bracket is with little planning. So let's first talk about the basics of RMD, okay? What is RMD and why is it important? At some point in your life, as I said, you may have put money into tax-deferred, not tax avoidance, but tax-deferred retirement accounts such as individual retirement account, IRAs, or 401K workplace retirement accounts. Now, the purpose is to defer, not to eliminate tax. It's just to defer the tax. At some point, you must pay tax on your contributions and earnings at some point, but you may be able to escape it. I'll show you how. An RMD is the smallest amount you must withdraw from your tax-deferred retirement accounts every year after a certain age. When you reach a certain age, 70 and a half or 72, you must start taking that or making a withdrawal against that account. Make sure you make the RMD. If you fail to make the required minimum withdrawal, there is a hefty excise tax you may have to pay, and this will be covered at the end of this video. What is required minimum distribution? The IRS requires that you withdraw, as I explained before, at least the minimum amount known as required minimum distribution from some type of retirement accounts annually, every year. The distribution are required to start when you turn 72 or 70 and a half if you were born before July 1 of 1949. If you were born, this is when you have to make the RMD withdrawals. If you were born after June 30 of 1949, you must start taking RMDs by April 1 of the year after you turn 72. Let's say you turned 72 on July 4th. You must take RMD by April 1 of 2022. Then again, you'll have to make another RMD by December 31st of the same year. And by December 3rd, and then just one withdrawal, December 31 after that, every December 31. If you were born before July 1 of 1949, you had to start making RMDs by April 1 of the year after you hit 70 and a half. That's 6 months after your 70th birthday. Now, don't worry about this formula. Just call your plan administrator. This thing is subject to change. Look, they just made it change from June 30, July 1, 1949. Here is another change. The Coronavirus Aid Relief, because we had a pandemic, an Economic Security Act, CARES Act, and enacted in March of 2020, suspended all RMDs for 2020. If you would normally have taken RMD on December 31, 2020, you must have taken one by December 31st, 2021. So they deferred the required withdrawal until the following year. This thing changes all the time. So when you hit the age of 70, 72, talk to them. What is the current law? And they will tell you when you should make your withdrawal, because your plan administrator has your birth date, so they know when you will hit a certain age. And then ask them, based on the current value of my asset, what do you think is my RMD going to be? Now, that's not going to be exact if you're continuing to work, because you have additional contributions or earnings until you hit that magic age of 70 and a half or 72 years old. So just talk to your plan administrator about that. How much do you have to withdraw each year? So here is another formula thing, but don't be an engineer and don't try to compute this. Just call your plan administrator. But to give you an idea, the amount changes each year according to your age. Start by calculating how much you had in all your tax-deferred accounts as of December 31 of the previous year. So add your 401K's, how much is the market value of 401K's, IRA, and this thing changes as the market value of your investment changes, okay? So add the total. Then, next, find your age on the IRS Uniform Lifetime Table. Again, your plan administrator will know this. And the corresponding distribution period. Distribution period is an estimate of how many years you'll be taking RMDs. If you're 72, for example, the distribution period is 25.6 years based on your life expectancy. Whoa, that's very generous. That means I have to live until 97.6 years. 97, 98 years. Well, there are not too many people who live that long, but there are some. And what they're saying is, even if you're going to live until 80, 85, 90, they're allowing you up to 97.6 years. That is how much you will have to withdraw. Divide the total of your investments in all accounts, 401k, IRA, and divide that by the life expectancy. The following year, it's going to be divided by, 24.6 years. Then divide the balance by the distribution period. And here's an example. Let's say that you have 100,000 in your tax-deferred retirement account. 100,000 divided by 25.6 is 3,906, which is the amount you must withdraw. So the following year, whatever the account balance is, and again, that changes every year because of your investments, could go up, could come down, you will be dividing that by 24.6 years. Now, again, don't worry about the mathematics. Just call your plan administrator. This way you will have an idea how much you will have to withdraw. You can take your RMD out of one account or take bits from each account so long as you withdraw the required minimum. So, if you have two accounts, 401k and IRA, you may withdraw everything out of IRA and leave the 401k, or withdraw everything out of 401k and leave everything here. You have to combine the total. That's how it should be done. In my case, my IRA and my 401k, the plan administrator of one does not know about the existence of the other. So if you just call your 401k plan administrator, they will give you a number based on the information they have, which does not include the IRA, for example. So make sure you call your IRA plan administrator also to get the number, then combine the two, and that's how much you will have to withdraw. And you can withdraw that amount in either of the two accounts, as long as in total you are okay. So, what are the retirement account required that requires the RMDs? Traditional IRAs, simplified employee pension IRAs, savings incentive match plan for employees, simple IRAs, 401Ks, non-profit plans, 403, 457 plans, profit-sharing plans, and other defined contribution plans. Anyway, most of these tax-deferred plans are subject to these RMDs. Now, Roth IRAs, okay? I said traditional IRA, SEP IRA, and also the simple IRA are covered by RMD, but why not Roth IRA? Roth IRAs are funded with tax, after-tax contribution. That means you already paid tax on it, and therefore they do not require RMDs, but they will be required when the owner dies. But make sure all IRAs and 401Ks other than Roth IRA is calculated for RMD purposes. Now, if you are still working at age 77 and a half, God bless you. If you're still working and have a traditional 401k or other workplace defined contribution plan, you may be able to defer further RMDs until April 1 of the year after you stop working. After you stop working. But for as long as you're working, you don't necessarily have to get that. Okay? Now, most interesting question. What if you don't take your RMD? Will I be penalized? Yeah, of course, yes. If you do not take any distribution, or if the distributions are not large enough, you may have to pay 50% excise tax on the amount not distributed as required according to the IRS. Now, if you're required to have $3,000 and you only withdrew, if you did not withdraw, if you did not make any withdrawal on the $3,000, you'll get penalized $1,500. Now, if you withdrew $2,000, which is short of the $3,000 required, the $1,000 will be subject to 50% excise tax, which is $500. If you're required to withdraw $3,000, yes, you can withdraw $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, anything. That amount, this minimum RMD that we're talking about, is the minimum withdrawal you should make. You can always withdraw more than the required minimum distribution. Okay? Don't skip the RMD to avoid the 50% tax. That's very important every year. And what I usually do is I do an automatic. I tell the plan administrator, okay, automatically on June 30 or whatever years before the end of the year, automatically send me 50%, not 50%, but the required minimum distribution. So that gets distributed to me right away. That's how it's done. Then, before the year end, if you want, you can still withdraw more depending on your need. But keep in mind that when you make these withdrawals, it will be subject to tax. So it depends on your tax situation. If you're receiving so much Social Security and then this RMD and then other investments, the amount may be taxed. On the other hand, if all you're getting is Social Security, most likely this RMD is not going to be taxed, and you may still have some room there that you can make a withdrawal and not have to pay any tax. So, if you are in that situation, you may be able to withdraw everything without paying tax. So it becomes a tax avoidance rather than tax deferral. So that is how you should plan this. And every year you should ask your plan administrator what will be the required amount. And by the way, they will be able to determine the required amount, because this is based on the balance of the previous year. So if it's now 2022, this will be based on what my balance was as of 2021. So they have that number, and they have the life expectancy information at that time you call, so they can divide one into the other and say, okay, this will be the required minimum, and that's not going to change, because your future fluctuation in market value and your investment will change during the year 2022, but this is based on 2021. So the plan administrator will be able to give you a number as to how much you should withdraw, minimum. Then you can withdraw more if you want more money, or if you have room in your tax numbers to manipulate this. Well, not manipulate, but to determine this, and you will not be paying federal taxes on those. So that is the information I can give you regarding RMDs enjoy your retirement. And if you are not retired yet, at least you can do some planning as to how you will be doing your budget. Again, this is based on your needs and also your tax picture as to how much money you should withdraw, but you should withdraw the minimum amount that is specified by the IRS. Please share this information with other people who you think might be interested in this. And don't forget to subscribe unless you have already done so. And please hit the notification bell. Make it a great day, and God bless.